Breaking news coming at you from the O Hockey Show is that Ryan O'Reilly has been acquired by the Toronto Maple Leafs in a three-way deal with the Minnesota Wild and the St. Louis Blues. So this is a big one, sort of. So between these three teams, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the big move here is that they bring in Ryan O'Reilly. Big centerman, won the Conn Smythe for the Blues the year they won the Stanley Cup in 2019, as well as Noel Acciari, as well as a AHL guy that no one cares about. Noel Acciari bringing in, I think, is also a good depth pick there for the Maple Leafs. With the big name, obviously, Ryan O'Reilly, the big Canadian stud. I think this is an interesting move for them, right? They needed that centerman, but also in this trade, to make this happen, is the Minnesota Wild have retained 50% of Ryan O'Reilly's contract. So he was first traded to the Minnesota Wild from the Blues to retain 50% of the deal to send back to Toronto, which they hold on, which in return they get a 4th-round pick for the year 2025, which is just such a strange thing. Like, yeah, we'll hang on to 50% of a millionaire's contract for a pickup of a young player in 3 years. Like, sure, why would anyone agree to that? But anyways, the St. Louis Blues, though, I think are the true winners of this trade here. They bring in Adam Gaudette and Mikhail Abramov. Not anything special there, but they get a 2023, so this upcoming draft, first round for the Maple Leafs pick, and a 3rd-round pick from the Ottawa Senators, as well as a 2024 second-round pick. So they get a 1, 2, 3 there, different years, but whatever. And, I mean, this is all around. I mean, I know I just said the Blues won this one, but I think this is a fair trade for everyone around, especially if it really pays off for the Maple Leafs. So, really, the big thing to talk about here is the O'Reilly to the Maple Leafs. I think this is a smart move by them. I always thought that the Maple Leafs, that their whole critique is that they've only powered themselves on the first line, and it bleeds a little into the second line, right? That's always been their problem, is that they don't have any depth. They're just stuck with their top front power. They're just the diamonds. There's no ring, right? And that is the biggest problem with the Maple Leafs. But bringing in Ryan O'Reilly, the perfect, solid, all-around player, two-way forward. He's going to win you faceoffs, perfect for that penalty kill. I mean, he played single-handedly against the Colorado Avalanche, sort of. Watching those, especially Game 1, he was the main man that they sent out there to try to maintain the Avalanche against them. And he did a so-so job of it just by himself against probably the best-built team in hockey, one of the best teams of all time, and he did that almost single-handedly. And this year, he has fallen off a cliff. He's only gotten 19 points in 40 games, and a guy like him, captain of the Blues, he's supposed to be doing a lot better than that. But for the Maple Leafs to go out on this risk, I like it. But this is kind of the problem at the same exact time, is that every single year with the Toronto Maple Leafs, they get the nickname the Maple Laughs for a reason. And that's because every year, it's like, this is going to be the year. But then they go on and they sign old men like Jason Spezza and Joe Thornton, as if that's going to replenish their bottom lines, right? Every year, it's the same thing. This offseason, they lose Jack Campbell, their goaltender, that finally brought them a first-round victory. But then they finally eventually lose due to their whole team not collapsing, but just being outplayed by the Lightning. So this offseason, they go out on another limb and bring in Matt Murray and Samsonov, which I will say hasn't been the worst move in the world. I've liked the gamble. It's kind of just playing average, right? The goaltenders, they're not being bad. Murray's okay, but it's not really it wasn't a bad move, but it wasn't an amazing move. So it's been so-so. But for Ryan O'Reilly, is once again, he's one of these picks that he's a gamble. He might turn into playoff form 2019 Ryan O'Reilly winning the Stanley Cup, turning around the Blues from going from bottom of the league to winning the Stanley Cup in the same year, going on this huge run in the playoffs. Maybe this is that guy. Maybe he could turn into the guy from the last year's playoffs and single-handedly maintain the Avalanche. Maybe not getting a goal, but at least maintaining them for your team, especially if you're going to run into the Lightning once again in the playoffs. Put him out there on a line of his own on the third line, and he's going to manage things just by himself. So it's a gamble for the Maple Leafs, but once again, of all years to make this move, and I know it wouldn't have happened last year, but they go out on this risk, give up a first, a third, and a second, just for a guy who's gotten 19 points in 40 games, a guy that everyone's saying is falling off a cliff. And it's a gamble, it's a risk, and I like the idea for the Maple Leafs, but I don't really know if it's going to pay off for them. The Wild, it's whatever. They get a it's not going to mean anything anyways, so big deal. So smart move by them. They get a free pick, I think fourth round for 50% of a contract's fine. And then, actually, to be honest, I probably would have wanted more. I mean, you're helping a team that you might play in the playoffs, and like if they make it to the finals, they're helping a team. So I probably would have gone with more like a second or a third, but a fourth in 3 years is a weird thing to just want to pick up. And then the St. Louis Blues. So Adam Gaudette and Abramov, doesn't matter, they're trying to lose now. They're obviously giving up on this run right now. Tarasenko gone, O'Reilly gone. They're giving up. It's fine, but I think they get genius moves by bringing in a first, a third, and a second. So the first round's not going to mean that much. The Toronto Maple Leafs are a really good team. They're going to be in the end of the first round, but it's a pick nonetheless. They're getting a first-round pick now. They have two. They can keep adding them on. Maybe they trade away another guy. Let's say they just blow up the team. They send away a guy like Ivan Barbashev for maybe like a second, or maybe a team's crazy enough to throw in a first, right? And who knows? Just an idea. So the Blues, smart move here. They're getting picks. I mean, they got a lot of picks for giving up O'Reilly. So good move by the Blues. I like it. I like it for the Blues. Whatever for the Wild. And the Maple Leafs, it's once again, I would not be surprised. I think everyone's going to go nuts over this. I mean, talk about a more like, when I see Ryan O'Reilly, he looks like he's the Canadian guy, right? He ran into a Tim Hortons. Like this guy is perfect for the Maple Leafs, and I think he's going to perfectly fit in with the squad as a player, as a guy, but as a player to win the Stanley Cup. Once again, it's the Maple Leafs making a move that's going to make Maple Leafs fans, all of them, and Dubas trying his best to get a resignation of his contract, an extension. He's making some moves to try to save his job, and this is a move that I think this might be the move that decides if he keeps his job or not. I mean, signing Murray and Samsonov might have already been kind of I don't know. It's going to be tough, and I know that most of it's probably like if it comes down to Matthews re-signing or not, but when it comes to O'Reilly, I really think that this might be this is his last gamble. Like, instead of going for like a Tarasenko, he goes after Ryan O'Reilly. Why wouldn't he? That's the weirdest thing, is why would they give up all of this for an underperforming Ryan O'Reilly when there is Tarasenko right there? When Bo Horvat was another centerman, a left-handed centerman, was there a few weeks ago, I don't know why they'd give so much for just Ryan O'Reilly. So that is a weird move for me. It is an overpayment for a gamble, and once again, I think this could either hugely pay off. This definitely pays off for the Blues and the Wild, but when it comes to the Maple Leafs, it's either going to, I think it's probably most likely 75% look bad, and then I'd say the rest of it can be split between like maybe he gets another 20 points in the last few, let's say 15 points in the last few games, and he gets a couple points in the playoffs, or he is stellar and is back at it, and he can maintain the whole best line of the Lightning by himself. But I guess only time will tell. So thank you for watching this. This is breaking news from the Yo Hockey Show. So pick up your free subscription down below by hitting that red subscribe button. Leave a like, not a dislike, but go down below and tell me how stupid I am. But also, who's stupid in this trade? Who loses this one? I think the loser of this one, there's really no way of saying anyone lost other than the Blues. I mean, the Maple Leafs, because the Blues can't lose. They got their picks. That you can't really lose on that trade. So, really, I think it's got to be the Maple Leafs. So tell me what you think down below. And until next time, too sweet. I hope you're having an amazing night. And ta-ta for now.